Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome award-winning, multi-platinum country music icon and star of the upcoming Fox series Monarch, Trace Adkins.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
The following is an All-Star 15 TV production.
From Mordor to Hogwarts to Gotham, the nerds have come together to create a show for nerds by nerds. Join nerds doing nerd things as they talk about all things nerdy. Stay up to date on the show by liking the Nerds Doing Nerd Things Facebook page.
Industries across the board utilize fleet trucks on a daily basis, from your local utility company to your grocery store, and many of these companies choose full-service fleet leasing. With a traditional lease, you're responsible for everything after you get the truck, but a full-service lease includes all the maintenance and other services at a set cost. Regardless of the scope or range of your fleet needs, TranService will engineer a fully customized, full-service fleet leasing solution optimized to your requirements. From asset acquisition requiring no capital investment, to the engineering, configuration, and selection of your fleet equipment, to the people, facilities, and equipment to keep your fleet maintained and repaired. TranService gives you everything you need, with advantageous fleet pricing based on our national account status, compliance expertise, inspections, licensing, permitting, personal property taxes, nationwide roadside service. We cover it all for you. Contact us today to learn why leading companies rely on TranService for complete turnkey leasing solutions.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to All-Star 15 TV. On the broadcast tonight, it is our Wednesday night special from Daytona International Speedway. I'm AJ Capola. Got Mike Campiggio and Gary Wells up in the broadcast booth, but it is the Sim500 for their Race 10 event. We're going 250 miles here tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun, and let's bring in those voices that you expect to hear every single Wednesday evening. Let's start with Gary Wells. Gary, how you doing, my friend?
Doing really well. I'm actually in a test session right now with these guys on track in the pit party, in the pack with Doug Roth and them. Tonight's going to be pretty tricky, as you can see here. We're going 3 wide through this pack. I'm interested to see who comes out on top tonight and who can get this top lane going. I think that's going to be a huge factor here tonight.
Yeah, see that gigantic pack. Unfortunately, we don't see Gary. Gary is a ghost test car, being a spectator here. But let's bring in our third commentator for the evening, Mike Campiggio. How are you doing, my friend?
Good, AJ. Doing really well. Glad to be back in the booth with you and Gary tonight here in Daytona Beach. Looking forward to tonight's action here on the Super Speedway.
What are you expecting, Mike? I know Gary said, a lot about the high line, and that's probably going to be the way to go. What are you looking for at our second race here at Daytona?
Well, AJ, I'm anticipating a lot like what we saw in the spring. A lot of 2 and 3 wide action. Maybe a little bit of Atlanta thrown in there with the pure chaos at the finish. So I'm just expecting a barn burner tonight here in Daytona.
Yeah, I'm thinking everybody what they learned for the season opening race just about a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months ago. They're going to take what they learned, try to apply it here tonight, but this track is a beast of its own. It's literally get behind somebody and just go, and if you are the lead car, you are going to try your best to stay at the front of any pack you are a part of. Right now, we currently have, looks like about 35 drivers signed up for the evening. We're still in practice for just about another 20 seconds. Gary, are you still on the racetrack?
I'm getting ready to pull in.
All right. Well, while you get out of that racing truck, gotta thank our sponsors here this evening, as you guys see in that bottom right-handed corner every single week. We're gonna start that off with the Drinking Bros Auto Racing Facebook pages. There is calamity coming out of the Tri-Oval. Gonna jump that towards the Nerds Doing Nerd Things podcast. New episodes every Thursday evening on their Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch page. They're talking about Spider-Man Miles Morales tomorrow night. Falcon Grafix. Go over to that Facebook page and use code AllStar15TV. You'll save $5 on your first iRacing vehicle wrap. And then last but not least, wrestling over everything. If you're into WWE, TNA, New Japan, AEW, any sort of wrestling, go check them out. They start some amazing conversations. We're going to get trucks on track for qualifying. Gary, take us through what qualifying and how these drivers are going to try to attack the racetrack here.
Well, Daytona and Talladega, it's mostly the truck. The driver has a very simple job, holding that pretty wheel as best as he can. By the way, I received some follow-up on the lap situation. We were originally going to do 80, but they did 100 on accident. So they're just going to roll with it. They're going to do the 100 laps. But for qualifying here, as I'm looking at Joe Hudson right now in his Vagisil Chevrolet Silverado, he is going to most likely run the high lane here on his getting up to speed lap and his first timed lap here tonight, just to get that momentum up as much as he can. And then for that second lap, or coming to that second lap rather, he's going to drop to the bottom of the racetrack once he gets off of turn 4 and hug that yellow line all the way around.
What's he doing, Gary? He's not.
I don't know if he's just trying to sandbag maybe, or get the temperatures warmed up in that race truck. He's starting to go now. but I think he might have been sandbagging there a little bit just so he can get the temperatures up in the tires and in the motor just to give him a little bit extra speed.
Yeah, that's going to kill his first lap, and hopefully he can hit all his marks on his second lap. We're going to jump back to him in just a little bit. You're taking a look at the 51 of Justin Fuller as he's going to go into turn number 3. This is his first timed lap, and look how nice he holds that wheel and holds that truck down towards that yellow line. Gary, that is the fastest way around the racetrack. But what we're used to seeing is that first full lap, they're running the high line to get as much of a run as possible. He just went straight to that yellow line, and his first lap is going to go for P2 of 52.39.
Yeah, and we have seen, in the last couple of, I want to say the last year, where we've seen people run only one lap here, like what Justin did, and they can get everything they want out of their first lap, and they can't really improve on the second lap. We've also seen people try it the old way. But there's definitely a lot of different opportunities to get the truck going and still run that fast lap that you need to run. Joe Hudson here is on his second lap, halfway down the backstretch now, approaching that bus stop chicane. Going into turn number 3 here.
I was like, what do you mean he's hitting the bus stop?
He went by it.
You had me for a second there, Gary, not gonna lie. I was like, what? What kind of super speedway race are we doing here tonight?
The kidney bean. No, I'm just kidding.
And Joe Hudson, his second lap is...
And he's going to take the pole. Well,
yeah,
he made us look silly on the first lap.
No kidding. And it really worked. EJ O'Rourke in the 41 on his second time lap. He's going to try to improve. Right now, he's currently in 8th with a 52.46 down the backstretch, down towards turn 3. He's away from that yellow line. Let's see what kind of lap time he's going to put down with just 2 turns to go.
And there are some bumps down there in that bottom lane on the back straightaway, so you really want to take the path of least resistance there. The less bumps, the better off you're going to be. So I think that's what he was doing there. But coming off of turn number 4, let's see what kind of lap he's going to run.
Going to use that apron. Going to use the Williams line, we like to say. Oh. He's going to go P3, 52.36, and he's going to tie with Joe Hudson and Trey Eitzen.
I hope Joe is watching that. He'll get a kick out of that one.
That's hopefully not too much. And I know he's on the older side.
Man.
There's the 38 of Chad Coleman. Shannon Wood's going to complete his qualifying. He'll go P2. Chad Coleman currently 22nd. Down and away through 3. Gary, what do you see?
Well, I see Joe is rooting for the pace truck again. That's what I see.
Well, qualifying is over. Guys, let's run down our picks for the evening, starting with Mike Campiggio.
Well, guys, I'm going to go with the number 91 of Wesley Donaldson tonight. He ran really good here in the season opener, so I'm looking for good things out of Wesley tonight.
And Gary Wells.
Well, since my original pick has returned, I am going with that famous 43 in Doug Roth.
And for myself, I'm going to go with the number 15 of Joe Hudson. Now, let's talk about what happened here at Daytona in the very recent past. Oh, God, that's a lot of carnage going into turn 1. They're having way too much fun before we go green tonight. Gary, real fast, run down what we are going to expect to see from Daytona International Super Speedway from our last couple races.
Well, most recent race that we had here was the season opener. Glenn Campbell won the race, and Justin Fuller led the most laps with 29 laps. We had 49 lead changes, 13 different leaders, and 5 cautions. We did have a couple of green, white checkered stone in there. They ran 107 laps in that season opener. Last fall, we had our winner, Justin Fuller, wasn't able to go back-to-back, but he is the defending winner of the second time around from last season. We had 24 lead changes for 11 different leaders and 4 cautions. For 12 laps, we had 86 lap total. So another couple of green white checkers thrown in there as they were only supposed to go 80 laps. And Trey Eidson led the most laps at 24 in that race. So I expect a lot of lead changes here tonight. It doesn't seem like they get a whole lot of just leaders, but a lot of lead changing. So expect both lines, the top or the bottom and the second lane, to be working really well. My X factor that we mentioned earlier, getting that top line ready to go, I think that's going to be a huge factor here.
All right, let's run through our starting lineup for the Sim500 Race 10 here at Daytona International Speedway. On pole, it's Tyler Dalton, and outside pole, it's Shannon Wood. Row number 2, it's Joe Hudson and Trey Eidson. Row number 3, E.J. O'Rourke, Justin Fuller, Glenn Campbell, and Wesley Donaldson. Your row number 4. And row 5, Brian Macklin and Robert Fieri. Gary, take us to 20.
All right, we got Richard Suavely there in 11th. 12th place is at 99 of Tommy Ryan. 13th is going to be that 3 of Jeff Ryan. 14th is going to be Doug Sigmund. 15th is going to be Kevin D. Brown. 16th is going to be John Schweiker. And 17th, we're going to have Kevin England. And 18th, we're going to have Joey Gattina. 19th is going to be Nelson Rivera. Kevin Stone is going to round out your top 20. Capigio, take it away.
21st, we have Jason Karlovich. In 22nd, Chad Coleman. In 23rd, we have Doug Roth. In 24th, we have Pedro Mojica. In 25th, we have Doy Woods. In 26th, we have Scott Simley. In 27th, we have Josh Parker. In 28th is Mike Kelly. In 29th is Hamis Gallagher. In 30th is Seth Foudy. In 31st is Steve Ritter. In 32nd is Ron Hollyfield. In 33rd is Robert Tucker. In 34th is Brian Wertman. And rounding out the field tonight in 35th is Gerald Livingston.
Big field here tonight, guys. It's going to be chaos. It's going to be crazy. I probably shouldn't have said chaos because TJ's ears probably just perked up. But as what Gary said, there is a lot of chaos that happens here at these super speedways. Just going back to our first race here at Daytona this season, 13 leaders, not too bad. 49 lead changes. That's at the line. I wish we had a count for how many times it actually swapped throughout the laps.
Yeah, that would be crazy. But yeah, they only count the lead changes at the line. What I'm looking for here tonight is, can you avoid the big one or several big ones? Can you stay up front when it matters the most? And the guy that makes the least amount of mistakes in this race is going to win it.
Yeah, and here we go. It's green at Daytona. Love that sound, guys.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites too. It's going to be pretty even here. Outside, a little more organized off the start here. And you see Tyler, he's going to pull down. Or I'm sorry, that was Shannon Wood. He's going to pull down and take that lead away. But here comes Trey Eidson on the outside.
And Trey is, like he always is, looking for that lead early and to hold on to it. On that outside, he's getting a nice shove from Justin Fuller and E.J. O'Rourke.
And they're going to come down, all three of them, down to the bottom of the racetrack. Joe Hudson starting that third spot. He elected, hey, it's crazy. I'm going to drop back to the back here for a little while and just hang out. A lot of drivers we'll see do that, qualify for that pit selection. That is very important here, as well as every other track, but especially Daytona. The best bet you can have is being towards that pit exit. It's going to really work out for you for your pit stops and your pit strategy.
As you look at O'Rourke, Donaldson on that outside, looking for a run to
and Fuller's going to go to the
get
back.
together. Yeah, he's going to hit the ejectocito cuz and go straight to the back.
Yeah, you're looking at Swikart here. He's the only guy on the outside, kind of making it work though, guys.
Yeah, we saw that in our first race of the season, that there were a couple drivers, I think O'Rourke was one of them, I think Fuller was one of them, that they didn't need anybody to that outside, and if they got any sort of help, they were going straight to the front, not looking back.
Yeah, and that outside line, you have that wall to benefit you, so you get a little bit of side force there. And, of course, you get the side force from the truck to your inside as well. So you get a little bit of both worlds, and it can help you propel yourself up to the front if you know what you're doing. At least get you up a couple of spots. If not, then you just kind of stay right where you are, and you're able to maintain a little bit.
What's really normal about these Daytona races, from first all the way to 17th, all under a second.
Yeah, all these guys are going to be wrapped around here. This is the most competitive racing we do here. Outside of Atlanta and Talladega, and even maybe Michigan to an extent. A lot of pack racing here. Everybody has a chance to win. But of course, we always hear those handful of drivers say, the good news is everybody has a chance to win. The bad news is everybody has a chance to win. And the people that don't run up front very often can get a little too excited and possibly cause a wreck or two.
Yeah, the only thing that would make everything worse is if there was a threat of rain.
Wink.
Yeah.
You guys have been keeping up on the iRacing forums here lately. They have been talking about rain and testing the rain model. I would assume it would be available as early as next year. So just in time for the Daytona 24. They would do that to us, AJ. Where they wouldn't talk about rain, and then the week of the race, they decide to release the rain model.
Or they don't tell anybody, and it's there for Road Atlanta, as we got a battle for the lead coming up.
Don't give Joe a heart attack. He doesn't need one.
Why? I think we might be the only couple teams that might be prepared.
You right.
Well,
Fieri's making it look good here.
Yeah, but Campigio, we haven't heard you in a while. What are you seeing? What battle are you watching on the racetrack?
Well, guys, I'm watching Robert Fieri here in the 77 pull out to the outside with Tommy Ryan behind him, and those two gone 1-2, and now Tommy just jumped to the bottom to fill that bottom line after he pushed Robert Fieri to the lead.
Look at that. How sketchy is that when you have the lead car, and we're talking about the 77 Robert Fieri, get very squirrely. How sketchy is that for Macklin in the 30?
Oh, that can be very sketchy. I mean, it makes you hesitant on getting back into the gas and wanting to push that 77. So you kind of have to pick your marks and when you push and why you don't push and those kind of things. Your best bet is pushing them on the back stretch. If you can get a push on the front stretch, God bless America and God bless you for being able to make a push on the front stretch. It's hard to do. And you definitely don't want to push in the corners here. That is definitely a big no-no. But that move that Tommy Ryan just made, I just wanted to brag on myself a little bit. I did that at Daytona in one of your broadcasts, AJ, and made that work to get a lap led. So I would not be surprised if we see more of that here tonight.
Look at that block from Tommy Ryan to the outside. Going to get right in front of Fieri, and that's going to open the door for Trey Eitzen. And I think Ryan still ended up leading that lap.
He did by 8/1000ths of a second. And we're going to see this quite a bit. I think especially as we get later and later into this race, we're going to see drivers try to control both lanes. But it's very, very hard to do, almost next to impossible.
We got a third line here forming, boys. Justin Fuller is leading this third line, and he's got a couple of drivers behind him now that's picked up with him in that third lane back there. They're slowly making progress toward the front.
Yeah, he hit that eject button, went to the back willingly, and then said, no, I don't like it back here. I'm coming back up towards the front.
Well, I think he also had some of his friends back there in the back that probably didn't qualify as well or qualify at all. And so I think he just wanted to get a couple of drivers that he could trust really well and then make his way up toward the front like he's doing now.
For some of the people watching at home, there was a term I was hearing earlier through the garage and some of the drivers. They were really talking about the drafting here tonight. And Gary, what does it mean to don't push the pusher?
Well, what that simply means is you've got, let's look at an example here at the bottom lane. You see Wesley Donaldson, he is the pusher. He is pushing that 7 car as best as he can. You want to try and lock bumpers for a moment to do a quick little bump draft, just to be able to propel your line forward. But if you're that third truck in line like we're seeing Wes now as EJ has come down to the bottom lane, Wes now has the responsibility of not pushing the pusher. So basically, you do not want to push that second truck in line. If you do push the second truck in line, that can cause mayhem with him trying to push that first truck, especially if that first truck isn't quite lined up at the bumper. It could hook him in either direction and cause a big accident.
Yeah, and it was a term that I've heard a couple times, but I know there's always a good chance we might see
Oh,
some new people, Fury, really lose how to turn two and
he
how the
had a little
backstretch.
bit of help. I think he lost traction there when the 3 got into him.
Woo! No damage, it looks like.
It was
But definitely.
it wasn't a heavy tap, but it was light enough to where it got that 77 loose. Good save though. And
It was a
one
very
thing
good
we will
save.
have to watch out for as we're 10 laps into this thing, I hate to talk about it already, but here we are. The fuel window here, gentlemen, anywhere from 35 to 40 laps.
Boy, this racing up front right now is intense. These guys are 3x3x3 all the way back for the first few rows. You can see these. Oh, there we go. There it is. There it is, boys. There's a wreck.
Oh, and that's gonna be.
That's a big one. That's what we all been fearing.
And I was just gonna say these drivers were getting super aggressive with the pushing, and they were moving their trucks back and forth in the draft.
And it seems like these guys always get pretty aggressive here early on in these Daytona races. They get really aggressive with the pushing, and then they kind of ease up after the first wreck. So, but yeah, you're looking here. Oh, it looks like the 41 might have jumped down a little bit into that 99, and then it caused him to get into the 30.
And look at the trucks they have taken out. Race winners from this year. You have Macklin. You got the 51 of Fuller, Schweinhart, the 99 of Ryan. Gonna hit that play button again. You're gonna see a couple other drivers.
EJ's
get into
involved
it.
in this. A lot of good quality drivers involved in this crash right here. Even the 60. I mean, the 60, I know he only made his first start last week, but Jason put on a heck of a show. He was involved in that wreck, unfortunately. And what's ironic about this wreck here, guys, and wrecking here at Daytona just in general, it just seems like if you're in 5th or if you're in 25th, you could be involved in the same wreck.
Yeah, big time. We're going to take a look from the race 1 here at Daytona, the season opener winner, Glenn Campbell. Take a look from his point of view and see how sketchy this happens and starts. And there it goes. Already off the racetrack, thinking he's going to be good. And,
Oh, little bit of contact there from Jeff Ryan. But honestly, that's not that bad a damage with this new damage model. So he might be able to bump those bumps out. Wow, bump those dents out, and get back going again. So if he does, especially if he doesn't have any engine damage, he should be okay.
And here's our first caution of the evening. And everybody's basically coming down pit road, but one driver right now, John Swinehart, probably staying out to lead a lap, get a point, and most likely going to come down pit road when it cycles around back towards the front stretch.
Yeah, and he might come in not only just to get some fuel, but also to repair that damage. He's got minor damage on the right rear quarter panel there. But, I think what we're really going to see here, a lot of guys just taking fuel. You can make it here on 2 pit stops. So with this caution here early, it's definitely going to change the fuel strategy here a little bit. But definitely still, I think it's still going to be a good race with all these guys here.
I think so too. I don't think there might be a couple drivers that have very, very extensive damage, like the 60 of Jason Karlovich, Jeff Ryan, Tommy Ryan possibly. But
yeah, pretty much anybody that was up in that pack, especially if you were in the high lane, you kind of got wiped out there. Fuller, I know, definitely had some extensive damage as well.
Trying to get a good view.
Actually, his truck looks clean. Never mind. But we don't know if there's any engine damage there too, because you can get that here and not have a whole lot of cosmetic damage. So definitely gonna be something to watch. And the 41 of EJ, he did get a EOL.
Yeah, he's got a lot of front end damage on that right front. Wow.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he hit the wall right front first. So that's definitely where you're seeing most of that damage from that 41 there.
A lot of rear end damage for the 99 of Tommy Ryan.
Yeah, I think, he was the one, I think he got hit from behind after EJ came down into him. He got down into the 30. And I think the 30 basically hit him square into bumpers. So
you also see Jeff Ryan with some
front damage. As long as he doesn't have engine damage, if these guys are still floating at 1180 RPMs, they should be okay.
let's take a look at some of the drivers that were caught in that incident.
There were some drivers thinking about disconnecting, and Justin Fuller just basically said, "Get your crap fixed to get back out here, get some points," and just basically being an encouragement to help us put on a good race. And even if you are running around in the back and not at full speed like you were, it's still nice to come out here. And who knows? Even with some damage here, we've seen guys finish in the top 5 before here at Daytona.
Well, that's also a really good point, as we're still on board with Fuller trying to listen for some engine damage, and it sounds relatively okay. You don't know how many other wrecks there are going to be. You have no clue. They might actually wreck out. There are always positions on the table for you to grab so you don't have a total loss of a night.
Yeah, and you definitely don't want one of these here, especially as we get closer and closer to the playoffs here. I know there's 18 drivers that make it into the playoffs, but it's good to keep that buffer. That's why we see guys try to finish as much as they can. They don't have a damaged vehicle policy like they do in real NASCAR, so they could sit there for 10, 15, 20 minutes, repair their damage, and still get back out there and be okay.
God, I hate that freaking damaged vehicle policy. So stupid.
Well, guys, and if it's shown too, every point matters in these playoffs. Every point matters.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at the playoff bubble here just a little bit, and Kevin DeBrown is right there on the edge, 18th. He's got about a he's got an
8-point lead.
He's got an 8-point advantage over Mike Montesi there. So definitely, he's going to want to keep that truck as clean as he can to stretch his advantage over Mike to maintain his spot.
Pace truck is off, and we are green again from Daytona. Side by side, down towards turn 1. Already spread out in the back of the pack.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see that with guys that have a little bit of damage, trying to group together, and people may not want to be up in this front pack and just kind of take it easy for a little while. But who's not taking it easy is Shannon Wood. He is all over the back bumper of that 7 truck. Look at Tyler Dalton up here in the 19 truck. He's getting a big push from the 43 of Doug Roth. Doug going to be one of our biggest movers so far. He's going to already be up into that 4th position.
Yeah, 19 spots. 20 spots. As that outside lane, like you mentioned earlier, Gary, is getting put together, and that inside lane slightly broken up.
Yeah, slightly broken up, but if you can get a strong pack of 2 or 3 trucks in the bottom lane, you can make it work, but definitely the outside is more organized and more outnumbered at the moment.
Oh, here's a great shot where they come off of turn 4 and a bat out of hell down the front stretch towards the tri-oval.
And we're watching here the 7 and the 43. They're really going to have to watch not only who's behind them in their rearview mirror and paying attention to how they're pushing the trucks in front of them, but they've also got to watch their temperatures as well. If they get too hot, they may need to either peak out or get out of the pack entirely so they can cool off their engine.
Flying down the backstretch, you see Justin Fuller once again trying that outside lane.
Even with all the damage he's got or had, he's got a lot of it fixed. So that truck darn near looking as good as new, and he's going to be able to, with the help of Macklin, going to be able to try and get back up here. And Mike, you know this. That's the thing with this damage model now on these trucks. You can bump and bang them around a little bit, and they'll still be in good shape.
Oh yes, and I think it's one of the most good updates that iRacing has done, because you can be a little bit more aggressive, and if you get a little bit of damage, you're not totally taken out of the race. So it's like, You know, hey, I got a little bit of damage, but I can still race and be competitive.
Well, Trey decided to leave your pick hanging out to dry, and he's going to take this lead right here.
Well, I know a couple drivers are listening to the broadcast, so yeah, yeah, that's it's even funnier. And Tyler Dalton to the outside with a train of drivers behind him with Brown, Fuller. Looked like Macklin was there for a second.
They're going to be catching a lap truck here, coming up pretty quickly as they're 3x3 into turn 1.
Looks like Jeff Ryan. Imagine how sketchy this is about to be.
Yeah, just look at how spread
He's
out
just going
this
to pull
pack-
over. Great job, Jeff.
Yeah, he's going to stay out of the way here. He knows that's going to be best for the pack here. Man, let's talk about how spread out this pack is. Oh, is Jeff Ryan trying to get back up into traffic here?
Yeah,
Yeah,
almost.
yeah.
Like he did, but they were getting out of the way.
Little sketchy moment there. It happens. Yeah, and that's really the crappy part of being in a lap down situation like Jeff is there. You want to make sure that you keep your speed up as much as you can, but at the same time, if you're forced to go to the apron, it just kind of ruins your momentum a little bit. But and these guys were all spread out, but at least up in the front pack, but they've gotten back together here in full force. But instead of the top 25 trucks being within a second, now it's only the top 14 or 15.
Still a lot of trucks, Gary.
Still quite a bit. That lead draft is still pretty strong, but you could definitely tell.
Fuller to the inside, to the middle.
He's going to make that middle work. You could get the middle lane going pretty well here. You just got to have the right people in it. He's got Brian Macklin behind him. He's also got Kevin Brown right there that just joined in. They are leaving Tyler Dalton out to dry. They said, bye, see you later. But yeah, you're really not seeing a whole lot of separation until you get around to Mike Kelly's area. They're about a second to maybe 2 seconds off the leader. They want to be near the front pack, but they don't want to be all up in that mess when they need to be able to avoid a big old wreck. But yeah, it just seems like Fuller is kind of the Pied Piper here of Daytona and Talladega. I mean, even Trey to an extent. You're able to, once you are able to dominate a race at Daytona or Talladega, and you know you're fast at these plate tracks, everybody's going to end up following you.
Absolutely. And we've seen Fuller go from the front to back to the front, and then with that wreck, had to drive through everybody again. And we're just 20 laps in, and he's done that 3 or 4 times already. Yeah,
if we could have an award for who passes the most trucks under green, quality passes, I think Fuller would be right up there in the top 5.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding on that one. And Macklin trying to make it 3 wide. He's got no help up there.
Yep, he's got no help. So now Justin Fuller's help turns into Kevin Brown and Doy Woods.
I thought you were going to say Travis Quaffle again.
I almost did. That's Travis Quapple's cup number and his truck sponsor. Almost said Travis Quapple. Yeah, you see, with this pack being a little more spread out, Brian was actually didn't lose a whole lot of spots. I know it'll show that on the leaderboard, but he was able to get back to the end of that second line and only lost maybe 4 or 5 spots, maybe 6 spots in that top lane. Yeah, Kevin trying to give Justin a strong push here. I think he might lead this lap.
I think he does.
He does not by 2 1/1000ths of a second.
Jeez.
Now we're really seeing the back half of the field get really single file behind Glenn Campbell. I mean, everybody from behind him is just single file running the bottom. So we're starting to get spread out even more.
Yeah, I think they don't want to be a part of anything crazy with this front pack, just taking a little more cautious. And as long as the front guy can see that front pack, they should be okay. It's just when they get side by side, it might cause them to break away from the leader even more. What were you going to say, AJ?
No, it's amazing how put together both these lines are, that nobody has a great advantage. And looking at that inside lane, it's being led by Trey Eitzen. You got Doug Roth, Wesley Donaldson, Shannon Wood. But if you take a peek at that outside lane, they're just matched with talent up there, and they got a full train of vehicles coming to the back of them as well.
Yeah, and you really get to see, especially when you come to a place like Daytona and Talladega, you really get to see who your drafters are, who can draft really well. Doug Roth, he runs pretty solid everywhere else. He's going to get you at least a 8th to 15th place finish every week. But man, when we come to these kind of places like Daytona and Talladega, he's right up there in the front, and he just led that lap. 43 up on top of the leaderboard there. But you just have those guys that maybe, they run 8th to 12th everywhere else. And then they come here to Daytona and Talladega and Atlanta, and they just hit that next level.
Well, Doug also was very strong in the season opener here at Daytona when we raced back here a month and a half ago.
Yeah, him and Wes both. They ran exceptionally well.
I think a wreck took them both out, as they're going to go right by, it looks like, Tommy Ryan and EJ O'Rourke.
Yep, they're going to lose a lap there. And that is actually going to put Tommy 1 lap down. And that's going to put EJ 9 laps down.
Ouch.
So if they get a quick caution here, Tommy's going to be back on the lead lap, and that will put 29 trucks on the lead lap. But yeah, when you see those guys on the bottom lane and this second pack, it's going to break up this second pack a little bit because they're kind of trying to figure out where to go.
Going to drop a little bit further back. You got Robert Peary in 20th. He's trying to make his way back up towards the front after being in that first caution of the evening, looking for help and just trying to play Tetris at literally the fastest speeds on the racetrack.
Yeah, and here at Daytona and Talladega, you play a lot of chess games, where you want to put your truck, why you want to put it there in that situation, and just knowing when to go and that kind of thing. And Denny Hamlin, I think, put it pretty best, and I can't believe I'm talking about Denny Hamlin in a positive light right now, but let it be. He said it's one thing to be able to take a run and be able to go up there to the front and lead a lap. That takes one set of skills, right? But it takes another set of skills to not only go up to the front and lead that lap, but to stay up there and control the race and control your line and being able to make those runs work and keep them at bay so you can hold on to the lead and hold on to that top spot.
Maybe he should have taken some of his advice at Pocono a couple weeks ago.
Maybe he should take some of his advice that he's won being at Daytona and Talladega, and maybe he could apply that to the Championship 4 races. Oh, I said the quiet part out loud again. Sorry, Denny.
You're not sorry.
50 wins though, but come on, man, you gotta get that championship.
It's basically a stalemate up here.
Yeah, at this point during the race, I think everybody's just trying to get some laps in and just be consistent and get to that next pit stop. I think that's what they are trying to do now, as opposed to that first run of the race where everybody was 3 and 4 wide and pushing each other into corners and being overly aggressive. Now that they've had that first wreck, and a few of these trucks have dodged a huge bullet to where they could stay in this thing. I think they learned their lesson. They're gonna try and play it safe here for a little bit.
And you talk about that first wreck, took out, I think, 2 or possibly 3 heavy hitters. You have Tommy and Jeff Ryan and also E.G. O'Rourke. And if you want to throw a 4th one in there, Swinehart's really good at these super speedway tracks. As Doug Roth is going to try to take the lead again. Look at the push from Fuller.
Yeah, he got a big old push there from that 51 that time. He's going to get another big push here at the exit of turn number 4. And I think he's going to lead this lap once again here. He tried to come down there and block the 7. Didn't quite work out for him. And I thought Justin was probably going to leave him hanging out to dry, but he didn't.
So did I. We both know, or all three of us know, that 51 loves that outside third lane. And for a second there, I thought he was going to take it.
I thought that 43 was going to be stuck in the middle with nobody. Look at Kevin Brown trying to make it 3 wide. He's got Doy Woods to go with him, and he's also got the 58 of Pedro Mojica. We don't talk about Pedro very much at these plate tracks, but here he is.
Oh, it's getting tight right here, boys.
It's getting very tight, and you got Kevin Brown to that outside. He won Atlanta, a plate style racetrack, a super speedway style racetrack. So he's got to feel, very confident, getting to the front and keeping it. I know there was a lot of shenanigans at the end of that race. Basically, the whole field wrecked, and he was the only car that didn't.
But you got to be able to put yourself in that position to be able to take advantage of that and seize the opportunity. Like, he was running top 4 or top 5 that entire race, maybe even led a couple laps, but he put himself there in the right position at the right time when they wrecked, and he was able to skid onto the apron and be the first one back to the line. And sometimes that's all you need here at places like that. You need to be a little bit lucky sometimes. But it's your execution of how you get there, too.
Going to drop back further in the field. You got Macklin in 11th, Doug Sigmund in 12th, 13th it's Tyler Dalton. He's trying to make his way back up towards the front. Glenn Campbell 14th, 15th it's Joey Gattina, it's 16th it's Ron Hollyfield, 17th it's Kevin Stone, Josh Parker 18th, Chad Coleman 19th, and Steve Ritter in the 20th position. All these drivers back here, and it looks like from Glenn Campbell back, are all single file, and it's like they can't get a run together to really get towards that front pack and start battling 2 by 2.
And the thing is, they really got to be able to push. And if they're not pushing very well, which these guys aren't, they're just kind of running their race and running their line. But if they were to push, they could definitely close that gap. But they also see the 3 wide that's about mid-pack, and they're kind of like, I don't know if I want to do that right now.
Yeah, do you think it's more of a, we'll worry about that later, just don't lose them?
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what I was hitting at on that restart, too, where I think you just want to be able to see them. And if something happens, you still have enough space to where you can avoid most of it. But later on in the race, I think as we get a little more aggressive around lap 60, lap 70, around that 30, 40 to go mark is when you're going to start to see these guys get going and being a little bit more aggressive.
And Kevin Brown, your race leader right now. Doy Woods trying to take it for the lap. And
he does by 5/1000ths of a second.
Jeez, it's like the last lap, every lap up here. But looking at your top 4, Brown plus 14, Woods plus 22, Roth plus 21, and Mojica plus 19.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of good races in the Truck Series over the years. I mean, if you go back to the real-life race that they've done here since the year 2000, first off, they used to not race plates here. So these trucks would get up to 195, 200 miles an hour. They were going cup car speed here at Daytona. And you would see, and because of how big of a hole in the air that these trucks push just in general, we've seen a lot of 3 wide finishes here in the past. So you're seeing this on the last lap. We're seeing this every lap. I think we could see maybe a 3 wide finish here tonight if the cards play out.
And Fuller Macklin back to the outside. No, they're going to tuck it right back in. I think they're just showing the nose.
Yeah, I think they're showing the nose and just trying to get a little bit of a draft here. Now here they come down the back straightaway. I think they were just trying to get a little bit of a draft for the next corner and then start using some side draft here. They might be able to take this lead here, AJ. I know there's only 2 of them, but they're the least broken up right now.
Is Brown going to try to go block? He can't.
I think it's going to be between Doug and Justin, and it's going to be Doug by a landslide.
Yeah, Trey with a heck of a second push there. He's going to duck out of line, get to that middle lane, and have Kevin Brown push him into turn one.
Yeah, and Kevin's a really good pusher. We saw that at Atlanta. We're seeing that here tonight, and we did see that in the season opener too. Kevin Brown and Fuller and Trey, they're some of our best pushers here in the series, but it seems like they can't get the lead on their own. Seems like they're able to push, and then the car in front of them or the truck in front of them just bails. And then they push another truck to the front, bails to the bottom lane. So I think tonight they want to be one of the ones that can get up to the front and then bail on them and then get down to the bottom lane, lead a lap here.
Holy cow, I kind of thought Trey was going to get turned there with how lazy he was getting to that second groove. And that's going to allow Fuller and Macklin to really get close to the lead here.
Definitely broke up their momentum. Doug Roth was able to, Trey, no, he led that lap by 5/1000. So going to be interesting here. They broke up that momentum. And if you have to lift even just a hair for a moment as the second place guy, the second guy in line, it takes you about a half lap to gain that momentum back.
Jeez, this wouldn't be an issue if it was Talladega. But with it being Daytona, it's a little tight with 3 cars.
Yeah, a little bit more narrow.
3 trucks.
Well, a little bit more narrow here at Daytona, but when we go to Talladega later on this season, you could go 3 wide comfortably, 4 wide, you could go pretty comfortably. It's 5 wide that gets a little tight.
I'm okay with just seeing 3 wide, because I think that's when we're really going to start having an issue if we try 4 wide. As that third lane is really starting to dissolve. I think they're going to re-rack and get going again, but Fuller, once again, with a full head of steam, he might have help behind him.
Yeah, Fuller just was able to duck back into the third truck in line right there. I think he's just going to sit here and ride maybe a lap or 2 and then see if he can get back going again. Maybe the help with Pedro this time.
Oh, he's looking.
And even if you look at Jeff Ryan right here, he's the last truck in line on this outside lane. Even though he's a few laps down, goes to show with the draft at Daytona, anything is possible. And he's still got some pretty decent pace up here.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate that he's multiple laps down, so he needs a couple cautions on top of a couple cautions, and still needs to be the lucky dog.
Yeah, he needs 6 or 7 cautions to get back on the lead lap here. He has currently scored 6 laps down in that 30th position.
As we're hitting the gyro cam, you're going to see the degree of incline here in the turns. That's a lot.
That is a lot of banking. 31 degrees of banking here in these corners here. And even when we get them onto the front straightaway, 18 degrees of banking. You know, it may not look that steep, but even then, I mean, 18 degrees, that's the banking of some of the mile and a halves we go to here at Sim500.
Yeah, and I hear a lot of drivers throughout the years say the tri-oval is the loosest part of the racetrack. And you've seen multiple drivers, whether it's in a Cup, Xfinity, or truck. Hell, even ARCA. One of our friends, Brayton Laster, had a pretty wild wreck through the tri-oval here. It's really loose. It's like being on ice.
Yeah, it is really loose because you set up the car to go through the turns here at 31 degrees. The tri-oval, that's why you don't see much pushing outside of the 2-car tandem that we used to see back in the day here at Daytona and Talladega. You really don't want to push here because, again, that truck is really light. It's a lot worse at Talladega. Not too bad here at Daytona, but it does still get pretty light, and you feel loose, and you just hope and pray that you can make it through there. They are coming up on lap traffic, these leaders are.
That's the 99.
Going around the 99, and he's going to go a second lap down here. Still in that lucky dog position, though, if we do get a caution. Yeah. Excuse me, guys, but yeah, we did see a lot of the drivers pit under that lap 10 yellow.
Yep.
So these guys will be able to go about 45, maybe 50 laps. Or to about lap 45 or lap 50, rather. So they'll be able to get that 35 to 40 and come on in down pit road, and they'll have to pit one more time.
Still up front, it's Kevin Brown, Trey Eidson, Justin Fuller, Doug Roth, Pedro Mojica, your top 5. Wesley Donaldson, Nelson Rivera, Brian Macklin, Shannon Wood, and Doy Woods rounding out your top 10. All under a blanket here tonight. You're watching All-Star 15 TV. I'm AJ Capola. You have Gary Wells, Mike Campigio, all in the broadcast booth. We are going to take a quick commercial break, and when we return, we're going to crank it up.
Industries across the board utilize fleet trucks on a daily basis, from your local utility company to your grocery store, and many of these companies choose full-service fleet leasing. With a traditional lease, you're responsible for everything after you get the truck, but a full-service lease includes all the maintenance and other services at a set cost. Regardless of the scope or range of your fleet needs, TranService will engineer a fully customized, full-service fleet leasing solution optimized to your requirements. From asset acquisition requiring no capital investment, to the engineering, configuration, and selection of your fleet equipment, to the people, facilities, and equipment to keep your fleet maintained and repaired. TranService gives you everything you need, with advantageous fleet pricing based on our national account status, compliance expertise, inspections, licensing, permitting, personal property taxes, nationwide roadside service. We cover it all for you. Contact us today to learn why leading companies rely on TranService for complete turnkey leasing solutions.
All right, everybody, we are back on All-Star 15 TV, and it looks like
Just in time for pit
are
stop.
happening.
Yeah, a lot of
Fuller is going to go
in
around.
front of everybody. Wow. That's going to lose a lot of time for Justin Fuller. It was a miracle that he didn't get hit by anybody right there.
He might get a speeding penalty for that, too, if he got down the road speed or not, too.
And an unsafe exit. Guys, we're going to jump on board because that was insane.
Yeah, I
Here it
think
is.
he hit the yellow cone. If you as much as hit that yellow cone on pit entry, it is going to give you a penalty. 22, and I think the rest of these guys are pitting. Looks like that right rear might have clipped the infield grass, and that's what sent him around. And also, we've seen here many times, AJ and Mike here at Daytona and Talladega, you can get a little bit of a wheel hop trying to get down to pit road speed.
Oh, here we go again.
Oh,
Trey
Kevin got
Eidson!
turned. We have a crash.
Oh, man.
That just took Trey right out of this race.
Boy, these
Just
pits
unfortunate,
up-
two drivers right there fighting for the same piece of real estate.
This is chaotic right now on pit road.
That was
And that's the X factor. And we talked
insane.
about that, minimizing your mistakes. This is one of them right here. Got the 81 pitting here, a few guys, handful of guys. I think this is going to be the rest of the field basically right here.
And here they come. Kevin Brown, bat out of hell. A lot of drivers looking like not being able to hit that pit speed.
Yeah, pit speed here, not very easy to hit when you're going at full speed. It is 60 miles an hour here at Daytona. It's kind of like getting off of your interstate and then go right to the drive-through window. That's how it feels.
Never heard it put that way before, but you know it makes perfect sense, especially if you want a burger.
That's right. Yeah, I think that is going to complete the cycle there, gentlemen. I believe. We have Pedro and a handful of other guys come on in, and I believe I can't see the car number.
Who are you looking at here, pal?
2 on your screen there. You got Doug Roth right there. Yeah, this is your lead pack right here. O2 is Shannon Wood.
Or it will be.
Oh, watch out,
Look
Jeff
at
Bryan.
this. Look
Holy
at
cow.
this. Look at this. Wow. I didn't think they were all going to be able to merge. You want to talk about that's like interstate driving at 185 miles an hour.
No kidding, their cap. Holy shnikes, Batman.
Oh, EJ Rourke
Oh,
got loose right there.
EJ.
So back
And
to what we,
sometimes, every once in a while, it can snap loose on you like that coming out of 2 and 4. You got to be on your toes.
so Fuller, who we thought was going to have an issue, only back to 8th place. But
And still in the lead pack.
Trey Eitzen back to 23rd from the lead group all the way back to 23rd and almost 6 seconds back.
Yeah, hopefully he's got some strong drivers there with him, though. Scott Simley's pretty solid. Kevin Stone, those guys. As long as he could stay with this pack right here, maybe they catch a lucky break with a yellow. He could be all right. But in the meantime, if it keeps going like it is, it may not be looking good for Trey.
Well, another thing they need is to stay in lining, keep it together. Because if they separate and start battling, they're going to lose even more time.
Yeah, and this is the situation here where you got 8 to 10 trucks like this. Just stay together as best you can. And we've seen here at Daytona runs, and even the big pack can break up quickly because they're trying to avoid their own wrecks. So I think that's kind of what they're also banking on a little bit, because we got the top 19 right now, all within a second and a half.
Well, since you mentioned that, Gary, let's do what we advertised. It's time to go crank it up.
Well, fans, I hope you enjoyed that. Crank it up there for the TranService Truck Series Sim500 Esports League. Of course, just want to give a shout out to our partners here on the channel, and of course for the league, TranService for sponsoring the series and everything that they do. But we've got the Drinkin Bros Auto Racing page. Of course, we've got the Nerds Doing Nerd Things podcast. New episodes coming out every Thursday. We've also got WrestleFest, or Wrestling Over Everything. I don't know. Am I getting these right? Did I hit them all?
You are.
I feel like I'm missing one. Oh, and Falcon Grafix. That was one I was missing. $5 off. You mentioned All Star 15 TV on your first order.
And Nelson Rivera making an appearance to that front row right now. He's getting a nice shove from Ron Holyfield.
Yeah, and Ron's not a guy that we talk about a whole lot, but he has definitely found himself in a good spot here, pushing Nelson, and who knows, Nelson might even lead this lap. If they keep up their push, they've been doing pretty good here this last half a lap.
Yeah, Shannon Wood, though, heck of a run, and look who's pushing them. You got Tyler Dalton and Doug Roth on that inside.
Yeah, it looks like Ron got shuffled out there a little bit on that outside lane. Justin Fuller going to take that spot. That second car in line. So you know what he's trying to do.
Smiling right now? You know who's really smiling right now? That 22.
Oh,
Nelson
for
Rivera
sure.
is smiling from ear to ear right now because of the two trucks right behind him.
Oh, absolutely. And plus, he's also got the 77. That's his teammate down there in that bottom lane. So everybody's running pretty good, right where that team wants to be.
What's going on, Chase Baker? Thanks for tuning in this evening. Hopefully you're enjoying what you're seeing. We're just past halfway here at Daytona International Speedway. Our race number 10 event right here on All-Star 15 TV for the Sim500 TranService Truck Series.
Yeah, it looks like Seth Fowdy, he's going to lose a lap there in the 26th position. And that's the thing with those green flag pit stops too. You don't want to lose the draft, and it looks like that's what happened to Seth there. As Doy Woods is all over the place, looking like Cole Trickle.
Has he got a problem?
I don't know, but whatever it was, I mean, he's okay now.
That's one
Well,
way.
at least you're hoping he's okay.
That's one way to snake the draft.
I mean, something, isn't it?
Ooh, Nelson.
Yeah, if he wasn't careful, he was going to lose the draft himself, and the 81 and the 13 was going to cost him too. And Doy is still kind of all over the place. So I hope,
Yeah, he's still doing it. I guess
Hope
it's
there's
just
nothing up
strategy.
with that truck,
yeah, no kidding, right?
because it looks like there's something really screwed up from that right front tire. It's
Yeah, we
really
saw the
kicked
move
out there.
Holyfield had there with pushing Nelson Rivera up to the front, and then got shuffled out by Fuller. He's fallen back to the 14th position, so he's going to be looking to re-rack and restack gear soon. Speaking of Nelson, he was able to lead that last lap there. Let's see if he'll be able to lead this one. Looks like he's going to pretty handily by half a truck length, 46 1/1000ths of a second.
And here they go by the 99 of Tommy Ryan, holding that inside.
Yeah, Tommy's holding that bank and holding that pretty wheel. Everybody knows they got to go up a little bit, and they do.
That outside lane is really put together.
Yeah, it was really put together because everybody left the bottom lane because of Tommy Ryan. But they're making it work for the most part. Here comes Joey Katina. He's going to be on the back bumper here of Mike Kelly. Look at this two-truck tandem between the 51 and the 22. Able to make it work. Nelson
making it
led that
work
lap,
the
I
last-
think, by 12 1/1000ths of a second.
They've been making it work for like the last 5 laps, but Jesus.
Here comes Doug Roth to the outside lane.
Southern Havoc Gaming, this has been a damn good race, and you, sir, are damn right it has been a great race. Casey Duncan in the chat. Oh, dude, we miss you. It's going pretty good. It's been a fantastic night for the three of us in the booth. We're partying up here, we're drinking up here, and we're commenting a Sim500 TranService Truck Series race, or I'm drinking up here.
He's gonna make sure you keep it
Well,
clean.
and Casey, he just had a total knee replacement surgery, so he's going to be out for a little bit. But good to see
Ow.
that you're watching there, Casey. And I call him robotic knee because they had to rebuild it.
Well, what's the $1 Million Man thing? They can rebuild him?
That's right. That's right. Hope you're doing well,
Jesus.
Casey, and you recover pretty quick so we see you back out on the racetrack.
Yeah, can't wait, my friend. Well, while you're sitting at home and while everybody's watching, hit that like button, subscribe to All Star 15 TV, follow if you're on Facebook, and follow if you're on Twitch. Yes, we're on Twitch. We're also now on TikTok.
Yes.
So go check that out because I've been making videos upon videos for the last 6 hours till my brain starts hurting.
Well, I know some of these guys are a little bit late on the joining here at the stream. Let's talk about our picks, guys, real quick. Let's just give a little quick, little over halfway recap here. Let's start with Mike Campigio. You ain't talked much in a while. Who was your pick tonight?
Wesley Donaldson is my pick tonight, and he's currently running about 7th place. He's had a very solid night so far. He's stayed out of trouble, and he's right up there in the front.
Well, my pick is right next to you there. Doug Roth in the 43. He's the 3rd truck in line on this outside lane, making it work. Giving some nice support to Justin Fuller. And AJ, who do you got?
Well, I got the number 15 of Joe Hudson, who's currently in that 13th position right there as they go through the tri-oval, the pink Vagisil car, or truck, I apologize. And, you know, having a pretty good race, not where he wants to be, but I feel like he's biding his time, only about 3/4 of a second back from the leading pack right now.
Yeah, he's doing a pretty good job. Looks like Southern Havoc there has the 22. Nelson Rivera, that's his pick.
The $6 million man, they rebuilt me.
And it looks like KC's choosing Joey tonight as his pick.
You know, that's a pretty good pick. Whenever we go to a plate or super speedway, however you want to call it, he is always a driver that makes his way to the front, claws his way to the front. And tonight, once again, he's up 7 positions from 18th to 11th.
And he's gaining more here in the middle here. And Joey, over the last like 3 or 4 weeks, when he has ran, I mean, he's run consistently 8 to 12. Just something that seemed like would always happen. It's like he's a magnet sometimes with some of these wrecks. But tonight, I mean, he's done pretty well. Like you said, starting that 18th spot, around the top 10, we'll just say, because it's hard to keep up with all the position changing here. But doing a whale of a job in that number 14 Ford.
Yeah, and you mentioned Tony Stewart earlier. You mentioned Denny Hamlin. But something with Tony Stewart that I remember hearing, seeing, and actually now believing, when it started getting warmer out, smoke would turn up the smoke and just start spanking people. And ever since the heat started getting turned up outside, that 14 truck has been getting better and better and better, as he is almost about to make his way into that top 10.
Well, we had a little bit of contact between Nelson Rivera and Shannon Wood just down the back straightaway. They both about wrecked right there.
A little bit of a hip check there between those two. Yeah, I noticed that as well. But yeah, back to your point with Tony, I mean, he was a dirt racer at heart and still is. Really what kept him in shape and why he was so good through the summer months is the track heated up. The tracks get nice and slick and be greasy and that kind of thing. And it just kind of felt like a dirt track to him. So he was able to manipulate the car in such a way, and the hot track and the hot temps kind of fit his style. And that's where he won a lot of his races, was in those summer months. Basically, from Memorial Day on, from the Coke 600 on, ever since he got into NASCAR, you knew that 20 car when he was driving for Gibbs, or that 14 car when he drove for himself later on, was going to be a car to beat every week. And it was argued that if the Daytona 500 took place in July, he probably would have won a couple of those instead of in February.
Well, I don't know how true that is. When it was the Xfinity or Nationwide or the Busch Series, I still remember him in that Oreo car spanking people every year.
It was either the Oreo car or the Old Spice car. Whenever he got into Kevin Harvick's equipment at Daytona, or when he was in Gibbs' equipment at Daytona in the Busch car, I mean, he was a rocket at Daytona. And then when he drove for Junior there for a couple years, he was still pretty good. So just seemed like Tony in Daytona, it always seemed to work out, but he was kind of like Dale Earnhardt, only he never won a Daytona 500. Won everything there. IROC, the Busch Series, Xfinity, whatever. Could win the 400 miler, could win his qualifying race, just couldn't get that 500-mile win.
He could win the Bud Shootout too.
Yeah, yeah, everything. I think he's like second all time. He might be even first all time on the wins list at Daytona, right there with Dale Earnhardt. Just couldn't get that 500.
3 wide for the point, gentlemen.
Yep, 3 wide for the point here. We got Mike Kelly. Oh, now he's all stuck by himself.
Shouldn't have said that.
Oops. Well, here comes Jeff Ryan to push him. Not going to make much of a difference as he's a few laps down, but hey, it would help Mike out, but he's going to fall back in line.
It would. Southern Havoc Gaming says, wait, Smoke drove for Junior?
He did, I believe, is when he ran the HendrickCars.com in 2008, I believe.
It was 2009 or 2010.
2010, he drove the Ritz car, didn't he?
So it had been 09. It wouldn't have been 08 because he was driving for that Gibbs Toyota. He won that day in the Old Spice Toyota.
And you're right.
It had been somewhere between 09 to 2011, somewhere in there.
So Gary, we are 67 laps into the race tonight. Put yourself in the driver's seat, and I'm going to ask Mike this exact same question since we are side by side. How, sketchy, how scary, how intense is it right now to be anybody in this front pack?
I don't think it's really that intense yet. Of course, I try to stay as calm as I can behind the wheel. I have my moments, as everybody else does, but you're really right here. You're just kind of chilling. You're still wanting to log those laps. It's really after that last pit stop, which these guys are coming up on already here. They're going to have to pit again for fuel because they pitted around lap 50. So they're going to have to come in again right after that last pit stop. That's when you're going to see things get more intense and the anxiety ramp up with these drivers. But right now, if I'm one of these guys, especially right where Shannon Wood's at or even Doug Roth, I'm just kind of relaxed. I'm just chilling, just turning laps at Daytona.
Well, also, you think about it real quick. The beginning of the race, you're more intense, and the end of the race, you're more intense. This middle part, like Gary was talking about, you're kind of more just wanting to log laps and stay focused and try to get to the end of this thing. But at the beginning and the end is your 2 times you're really hard on the wheel, being aggressive.
Yeah, and Casey Duncan wanted to confirm, Stewart drove the Ritz car in 2013, same year that Kyle Larson went up into the fence. Tony won that race at Daytona.
Ooh, I remember that way too well.
I watched that live. I wasn't there at the track, but I watched it live on TV.
And just as fast as that middle lane got there, it is gone.
Yeah, and it's really, really tricky to keep an outside lane consistent if you don't have the strong racers up there. If you could get strong, consistent racers up there, that outside line will be strong all night, but everybody tends to favor that bottom lane here.
And that bottom lane is currently being driven by Doug Roth. Got Justin Fuller right behind him.
And speaking of that middle lane, here it comes. Just as fast as it went away, it came back just as fast.
A rocket right now.
Yeah, look at Kevin Brown. He's getting a heck of a push there from Pedro Mojica. And he's also got Joe Hudson right there, Mike Kelly. A lot of good guys right here in that middle lane. And they're going to go to the bottom. So as fast as it came back, it might go away again. Well, here comes Pedro. He's going to go to the outside. He's going to think Joe Hudson's going to push him. And Pedro's got a lot of momentum, so he might be able to steal this lap.
Pedro Mojica.
And he did by 31 one-thousandths of a second there. Yeah, even Southern Havoc Gaming made a good point. Being a league race winner at a super speedway, yeah, those last 10, 20 laps are really intense. Again, right after that last pit stop, that's when things really start to ramp up and people get a little bit more aggressive and a little less patient by each passing lap.
it really looks like that outside lane can't keep their momentum looking towards the front, and then are gone. Just gone after that.
Yeah, and it's really that third lane that can't get going. It seems like the middle lane can hold it pretty good, but this third lane on the outside up by the fence, it's really hard to keep that lane consistent and going.
Getting some great camera shots of all the drivers heading down the super stretch. And new player on that outside. I think that's Josh Parker in the 81.
It is Josh Parker in the 81, getting a nice push here from Doy Woods in the 28. K&N machine. It seems like they can really lead that line well, but they're kind of missing something. I don't know if it's because of that front end damage a little bit on Josh that's kind of holding them back, but they're right there. It's just a matter of getting a nice run down the backstretch one of these times, and maybe they can take the lead.
If you look at that inside lane, you have Kevin Brown, Doug Roth, and there's a little separation where that middle and outside lane can capitalize on. As it looks like Doug Roth wants to pull out a lane.
Yeah, it kind of looks like he wants to pull out a line, but I think also at the same time too, it could be one of those things where he's just trying to keep that truck cool as well. Look at Pedro. He's stuck in the middle with nobody here. And the 81's going to be able to take advantage. Let's see if they can lead this lap. I don't think it's going to happen, though.
No, it's still Kevin Brown.
Yep, still Kevin Brown and Doug Roth there by second truck in line, able to stay in second there. Yeah, it's going to be interesting as we get later and later in this thing. Who's going to be more interested to go up to that top lane and make that top lane work?
And we're going to have starting at pit stops.
We're having the last cycle of pit stops. Yep, I just heard that too, Mike. Tyler Dalton's getting ready to pit. Joey Gattina's going to come in and pit. Really right here at this point, you're just getting a splash of gas and go. It's probably going to be about 5 to 6 seconds worth of gas here just to make these last 25 laps. Now, if we get a late race caution, it's a GWC. Then you know we have to talk later. The strategy here, pretty simple. Get in, don't lock the tires up, get out, and get back up out on that racetrack.
And don't speed and don't make any contact coming into pit road either.
That's right. That's right.
We've seen that tonight so far on pit road. Coming to pit road, guys have made contact.
2 truck is pitting, and don't lock up your tires.
I really thought the 51 of Fuller was basically screwed when he flipped the grass and spun around. You know, he is back up towards that front, like we were mentioning earlier. And here comes everybody else.
Yeah, here comes most of the pack here. Another 8 to 12 trucks.
Relatively good onto pit road for everybody.
Fuller did a lot better of a job getting on pit road that time. Didn't get
No
into anybody. Nobody got into him, so he's good. A lot of drivers discussing their pit strategy here. People are asking Scott Simley how much further he can go on fuel, and he's saying about 2 or 3 laps. So, you know, those guys are going to be pitting here soon, and he's right up in that pack with Trey, who's leading the pack right now.
Here come the leaders.
Yeah, here they come down on the pit road. Josh Parker and them, little sketch. Making it there.
That's not everybody.
No, that is not everybody. We still got one more pack here led by Trey and them. You also got Chad Coleman and Brian Macklin too.
Brian Macklin is on pit road.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was like, did I read that wrong?
No, you read it right. I'm reading it wrong because, you know, time and scoring's a little delayed for me. I forgot to look to my left.
I'd be taking just fuel.
Yeah, you're going to be taking just fuel here, and you're going to fill this truck about halfway, so it's going to be about half of a fuel run to the end of this race. So Maybe not. Maybe a little more than 5 seconds. You could take 2 here, but I think you're gonna see a lot of guys just take fuel only. And got EJ dumping off here. Everybody's staying out another lap. They were saying they can go 2 or 3, so I think this is the lap they have to pit.
Something happened with EJ O'Rourke.
That's nah. He came to pit road by himself.
Yeah, he came.
No, it showed him off track.
Oh, well, his day just went from bad to worse. Oh. Well, it hasn't been his night anyway, so unfortunate for him.
We got trouble tri-oval. I think that's Joy Woods going through the grass. Oh, wow, he got turned. He about Dale Jr. 2002 Daytona 500 that.
Ooh.
Robert Fury. Oh.
And the rest of our leaders here, now they're pitting this time.
And Doy's going to pull over and jump to pit road. Must be a lot of damage.
Some damage there, and you know he had a penalty there too that he's going to have to serve because they don't clear the black flags like that under green. So, and he just left the building. Elvis has left the building.
That's unfortunate. He got spun down pit road.
Yeah.
And we're back with the lead pack and Chad Coleman up front.
Yep, Chad Coleman up front, and they are already on the backstretch and gone. This third pack left in the dust. Chad Coleman, Shannon Wood, Justin Fuller, all right here. This is your race for the win.
Basically with 20 laps to go.
And this is where now, Southern Havoc, you can get nervous. This is where it's going to get a lot more intense. We're 3 wide already. Right here, this is where you make the big bucks. Can you be the guy to make that lane work? And look at Pedro. He's going to cut down all 3 lanes almost. He's kind of practicing this late race move. Oh, he's going to try and block. It didn't work. Here comes Fuller to give him a push. Knocking that 58 sideways down the back straightaway.
And Shannon Wood to the point.
Fuller did not like that move. He came over the
Fuller
radio.
didn't like that. Yeah, he did not like that late block. That's why he pushed him like that. Look at Shannon Wood here up on the top lane. Yeah, Pedro making a point. He did have such a big lead on them guys. It didn't matter what lane he picked. He was bound to hit somebody, and they were neck and neck, dead heat. 0.001 of a second between Chad and Pedro that last lap coming to the line. It was basically a tie, but they gave it to Chad.
And this is the part of the race too now where you're in this pack, you're holding a pretty reel as hard as you can because the bumping, the banging, the pushing is going to get more and more as we get along here.
And this is where you're heightening your focus a lot more. And even to an extent, some guys like to white knuckle the wheel, and that's the worst thing you can do. Look at this run they're getting in the middle lane right here. Pedro getting another big push here from Justin. And Pedro's going to lead this lap barely. He's going to lead it by 15 1/1000ths right there over Shannon.
Ooh.
Here comes Chad Coleman. He's trying to get back up there too. Josh Parker's not fully connected to him on the bottom lane.
Yeah, he needs to get up there and get connected. I was kind of getting a little squirrely for Fuller right there, as you mentioned, AJ. These guys are all over each other. And they're making this 3 wide look easy. Oh, he tried it. Not going to get there. They save it.
Oh, keep saving it, Chad. There you go.
Wow, what a move by Fuller. Just didn't kind of screwed over the 38 right there.
Drinking Bros, best hands of the race goes to Chad Coleman.
It really does. And that really messed up Justin right there. He's going to fall back. He's going to pay a big price for that one. Thought he was clear and wasn't. And he's owning up to his mistake right there. He said, hey, that's my bad. He's sorry. He's going to try and move it up. Here he goes, middle lane. He's going to shoot the gap. Almost wasn't a gap. Here he comes. shooting out of a cannon out of that middle lane. Here he goes, going for the lead again.
That truck.
Look at how he was able to take that momentum. That is a masterclass of drafting right there.
Looks like there's NOS in that truck.
The way he was able to keep that momentum, I have not seen that in a long time.
He's gonna block. He's blocking. He's
blocking Pedro. Pedro's gonna give him a shot. Pedro gonna
go.
It doesn't work. There's gonna be a big wreck here. Big wreck. Everybody's wrecking in the trail of grass. No caution yet.
No caution yet. Coming back up. Oh, Kevin Brown got hit. Mike Kelly's hit. Turned around.
No caution. No caution yet. Still no yellow. Still no yellow.
Is that because we were still going all the right way?
Yeah,
basically?
they were all still going the right way there. I think that's why that caution didn't go out. And again, they rely on those iRacing cautions. Let's take a look at the replay on that, AJ. You'll see Pedro try to clear himself, and he's not quite clear of Shannon right there. They were 3 and 4 wide right there.
This is gonna basically separate everybody.
Yeah, you've basically eliminated your front pack to what, 8 or 9 trucks now?
Basically.
Instead of 15 or 20? But I don't think they're done yet though, guys. I don't think they're done.
That was a tough break as well for a few of those drivers who were having really good nights.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be hoping a yellow comes out here and these guys wreck one more time for good.
A lot of people in the chat had been surprised that was not a yellow either.
Yeah, how's that not a caution? Well, they're all out of the racing line, and then when they got back up on the track, they were all going the right way. I know they were going significantly slower, but I'm not sure how iRacing manages those cautions with sideways trucks and speed, but apparently it was evidently enough to keep going. Look at Joey Katina here. He's going to take the lead. He's got a big push from Dougie Roth right here. And of course, Justin he puts the 43 in the fence.
Oh, Wesley Donaldson's sideways too.
Well, there goes our guys.
They're wrecking again.
They're
Trey
still
Dalton
wrecking.
head on in the wall. Trey Dalton is head on in the wall. Still no yellow.
Yeah, Tyler Dalton there. Shannon Wood.
I said Trey Dalton. I meant Tyler Dalton. That's my bad.
Another one bites the dust. Rivera back in the fight. No kidding. I've been watching out for that 51. He's kind of been a weapon here these last couple of laps. So if I'm Joey Katina, I'm a little bit nervous being around that 51. Just saying.
I'm still stunned that we've had no yellows yet.
Look at the 30. He's trying to make a run here past the 3. And he's going to push that 51. No help for Joey. He's going to fall back to 3rd. Joey not happy with Jeff right there being in the way, being a lapper, saying he needs to give room to the leaders here. In that situation, I think you do. If you're a lap down like that, you'll want to try and push the leader as best you can, but at the same time, you also just need to know when to get out of the way. Uh-oh. Pedro a little bit squirrely there. I don't know if he had an awkward bump there from that 3 or what. Now we got this pack eliminated down to about 5 trucks. 5 lead lap trucks anyway.
So our front pack right now is just 6 vehicles. Lead lap vehicles. You have Jeff Ryan in the 3.
Yeah, to make it 7 trucks, but that's not 7 lead lap trucks there, just to emphasize.
This is completely different than what we've seen all race.
You know, this is kind of like, a throwback a little bit to the old school way, back in the 70s and 80s where there's only, 4 to 6 vehicles going for a win. This is kind of what we're seeing right here.
Yep.
And the 2004 Daytona 500 where everybody got spread out in that race. Fuller is blocking his rear end off.
Yeah, I don't blame him. With just over 10 laps to go. But we've seen blocking,
you can only block so many times though, AJ, before you get spun out.
Exactly. I was just about to bring back Atlanta.
Oh, it's getting tight right there. Fury's all over the bumper of Mojica. You can't push the pusher as we talked about earlier tonight.
Yeah, can't push the pusher, but there's nowhere for him to go. He's trying to lift, but if he lifts too much, he's out of it. He's going to be like Holyfield down there. He's going to need to be able to keep the gas down. When you're the second to last and the last car in line, you really got to stay in the gas. Drag that brake a little bit if you have to slow down, but you really don't want to lift. Look at Macklin, though, getting a really big push here from Gattina right now. Coming to 10 laps to go here at the line. Pedro was peeking to the outside there. Not going to get there, though. At this point in the race, too, guys, I mean, you're not really watching your temps anymore. This is a go get 'em time.
It's just straight go time right now.
And I don't know if that's. I don't know if that's.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say. I was gonna say real quick. I don't know if that's what happened to Doug Roth or not, because it looked like his engine just exploded.
Yeah, it definitely could have been an engine problem for him. Whether it was before or after the wreck, I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, you can definitely blow an engine here if you're not careful. You got to make sure that truck stays below 270, and you'll be in really good shape.
And looks like Jeff Bryan is going to try to help that inside land. It looks like Brian Macklin tried to get to the point. He's going to have Fury and also
Look at
Mojica.
Fuller go to the outside by himself. He's trying to make anything happen if he can.
He's done that all night.
I know he has. It's just a little bit more significant, though, end of the race, and not a whole lot of help up there as opposed to
He's
earlier.
got no help. And if I was anybody else in that line, I wouldn't help him either. Not because I don't like the guy, but, because
it's go time.
Almost the fastest truck.
That's right.
If
It won't be the fastest truck early, but not late in these races. Oh, Joey doing a big bump there to Pedro going into that corner. Almost spun Pedro out. Joey's going to give him another push, another push, another push.
Oh,
Only
he's
pushed so many times. Here he goes to the bottom. He's trying. Joey may not have the fastest truck. He may not be the best plate racer, but he's got the heart right now, ladies and gentlemen. He is trying to win this race.
hook or crook right now. And he's backing up. You can see him backing up to Justin Fuller. Don't know if that means he's going to try to pull out a line here, or he's just going to side draft the inside.
Maybe he's trying, I mean, late in this race, you don't want to make your move too early. You don't want to make it too late. So Joey's kind of in this awkward position here of like, do I want to try this move now? See if maybe I could try to tank myself and do it on the last lap, or do I have to wait till the last lap to do that move? Because even if you try to do it now, you don't know if it's going to work anyway. So you might as well try something.
Because if you're just going to sit right where you're at, that's where you're going to finish.
Yeah. And even Dale Earnhardt said after the Bud Shootout in 01, so yes, that was his last NASCAR race. Sorry to bring this up, folks, but he only took 2 tires on the last stop that they had. So he had new right sides and old left sides, and he knew that was the only move you had to make. And if you see it, you got to do it sometimes. And that was his move. And ultimately didn't win that race. I think he finished 2nd or 3rd. But
here it goes. Katina to the inside.
There he goes. That's what I'm talking about. You see it, you got to do it. He saw the move. He's got to do it right here, and he's going to take the lead because of it. And that's the point I was getting ready to make.
Macklin right behind him, giving a shove through the tri-oval.
A big shove through the tri-oval. Katina to the point. 14, new leader. They're telling Jeff, get out of the lead pack. They are trying to make this line go.
He just listened to him, too, because he's falling right to the back.
Falling right to the back.
Which, he was fast.
If I want Jeff Ryan, if I'm Hollyfield right now, I will take Jeff Ryan as a drafted partner. I will be more than willing to let him push me to a win.
Yeah, and that's 3. Even though he's a couple laps down, he's been fast.
Yeah, he's been fast all night, and he proved it early on in this race too. I think he got up into the top 5 before the first yellow, so he's proven that he's got speed. Look at Joey
we about
Gattina
to
able
go
to
3
hold
by
it here.
3.
5 to go. 5 to go.
Oh man, everybody.
Are we about to go 3 wide? I don't know. We could go 3 by 3.
3 by 3 by 3.
Well, we don't have 9 trucks here, just 7.
I by you 2 by 2 by 2.
Oh, Pedro getting
Math.
loose. Pedro got a huge shove from Justin Fuller on that outside
Yeah,
line.
knocked him sideways a little bit there. Kind of ruined the momentum a little bit. But look at how aggressive Justin's been with that side draft. Gonna be interesting here. Coming to 4 to go.
Oh god.
I know trucks are spread out all over this racetrack, but this is the best battle we got, ladies and gentlemen.
You got a couple people in the YouTube chat right now rooting for boss man Joey Gattina. And Macklin is giving him everything.
He's giving him all the pushes he can get. And you know Fuller's trying just as hard on the outside, pushing that 58 of Pedro. As these guys get a little more racy, I am starting to see Nelson Rivera and this pack start to come back into the picture just a little bit. I don't know if they're going to be able to get there in time. There's about the same amount of trucks, but they're all able to hold it on the inside line there pretty well.
About 5 laps ago, they were about, I'd say, 6.5, 7 seconds back. They're down to 4.5 now.
Yeah, unfortunately, if they just add a couple more laps, it'd make it interesting, but I don't think there's going to be enough time for these guys to catch up.
I don't think so either, but all it takes is for Rivera to just sniff the draft of Ryan.
Yeah, if he can get within a second, he's got a shot, but I don't know if they're going to be able to do it. Look at the 77 here of Robert Fieri. He's going to try and make a move to the outside. He's got Justin Fuller giving him a push, and they're going to go straight to the front.
They're right by Gattina. Here comes Fuller, too.
2 laps to go. Will Fuller be able to take the lead at the line? Not this time.
Dual popsicle sticks up in the air, and away
Gattina
we go.
giving a big push to Fieri right there. 2 laps to go. And they know that there are 2 laps to go. These guys are going to get a little more aggressive here coming to this white flag.
That second
Here
pack
comes
started.
Gattina.
Ooh! I thought Gattina was going to hip check.
They gained 2
Mojito.
seconds that last lap. You're right there. We'll have another half second. Not going to get there, though. I don't think there's enough time. Now, if these leaders wreck, then it's all over. Then you know, Nelson Rivera's sitting in the catbird seat. But
Coming to the white.
Yeah, we're coming
white
to the
flag
white
in the
flag.
air. Here comes Joey Gattina to make that move to the outside. He's going to take it. He's got a strong pusher. Justin
fair
Fuller, white flag.
play.
He's going to lead the white flag lap. Will he come back and take the checker?
Fair Play WrestleFest last lap right here at Daytona International Speedway.
Oh,
Joey
here comes
Gattina.
Fuller. He tried to go to the bottom, but he knew the 77 was there, so he decided to stay up. Here comes the 77. He's got a strong push from Macklin right here. Coming
Oh,
off a
huge
2, the
push.
77 gets loose. They all save it. Here they come.
Here comes a big push from that outside line now.
That 51's going to give a big push here. Big push to the 14. Is he going to make it 3 wide by the time they get into 3? Look at the side drafting that's happening here between the 14 and the 77. They better watch out. That 51 might shoot the outside. Rounding turn number 4 for the final time. It's going to be Joey Gattina at the line. He's going to win it here at Daytona.
Finish. What a
Joey
finish.
Gattina.
What a finish for Joey
Holy
Gattina. He is
cow.
going to grab the win.
Big
What
Boss
a
Man
race.
wins. Big Boss Man wins, followed by Justin Fuller and Robert Fieri. What a great
And
last
that
10
is
laps.
Joey Gattina's first ever win in Sim500.
Really? In the league he created,
That's
his
what
first
he's
win.
that's what he's saying, and that's unless I misheard him, but
You probably didn't. But that's just going to make this interview so much sweeter. It'll be the first time us people in the broadcast booth actually be able to interview Joey Gattina. And if it's his first win, which it sounds like it is, I'm getting goosebumps right now because I'm going back to my first fake racing win.
My first fake racing win.
It's real to me.
That's right.
Wow. And burn it down, Joey.
Well deserved. That's going to be a popular win amongst the guys.
Well, Gary, I know you're very excited for this interview. We'll let you get first cracks. Here is Joey Gattina.
Joey, Gary, the boys in the booth got a copy.
Hey guys, what's up?
Oh, well, I mean, we're just looking at you. Race winner here now in the Sim500. Is this your first win?
Well, it's not my first win, but it's what we consider premier, being our Sunday Xfinity Monday night NC 811 Cup Series and TranService Truck Series. It'd be my first premier victory, so I'm can't believe it, man. I've been trying for so long, gotten close a few times, but these guys are tough, man.
Well, I mean, you had some really good pushes there from the 51. I was sure off of turn 4 he was going to leave you and try to go for the win himself, but man, you really pulled it out of the bag. You were, I mean, talk about your race, man. I mean, you were top 10 most of the race here, so definitely had decent speed, and then the seas kind of parted for you to be able to take the lead and ultimately the win here.
Yeah, it was, I don't know, qualified terrible like normal. But, you know, as far as the race, we just tried to run a smart race. We a little longer event than we had planned, 20 more laps than we had planned actually. But I don't know, man. We made those green flag pit stops and got behind a little bit. We were able to catch back up. And then, man, those two passes I made for the lead, I mean, that was textbook. I shoved the 58 off into the corner. We got a good lead, and I was able to jump to his inside and take the lead for the first time. And then I just did the same thing right there to the 77. I knew coming off the backstretch, I could see separation with the two trucks above us, and I knew if I shoved the shit out of them down the back straightaway, going into 3, I could make my move to the lead, and then my teammate Doug Ross said, "Man, stay in the middle, live or die," and that's what won the race for us. So, got to thank my team there for all the help and you know, just keeping me focused, man. Damn, I can't believe we won a race.
Hey, and win it at Daytona.
About
Well,
the only
you
place
got-
we can win.
right. Well, you guys got anything for Joey here? Obviously, he's pumped up. Y'all got anything for him? All right, that's
Well,
a no.
Joe, no.
Okay.
I was seeing if Campigio would throw his 2 cents in. Dude, fantastic run towards the finish. You by far were one of the most strategy drivers. Like you used the high speed Tetris game to, like, I think the best tonight, you and Fuller. But dude, those last couple passes are a thing of beauty. I hope you go back and watch them and have some popcorn because, dude, it was a hell of a show tonight.
Well, I was hoping you guys caught that, you know, shoving them off like that, and then getting being able to jump to their outside or inside there. I know the 58 tried to block me on that one, on that first one, but thankfully he moved up the track. But man, I tell you what, it was insane, the blocks and the moves and the focus that you have to put into winning one of these races. It's no different from the real thing. So, man, it's gonna be hard to sleep tonight for sure.
Well, we go into the Motor City next week. You're going to take your Ford over there to Michigan. Ford's a good there, so might as well just keep the luck going here. How do you feel about Michigan next week?
I love the track, but track don't. You know, Monday night in the NC 811 Cup Series, I was so good. I felt so good in practice, and you know, we came off of 4th at Richmond, and then just struggled the whole night there. So hopefully that won't be the same thing come next week. But again, going to a track like that to beat, you know, a Pedro or a Fuller or a Trey Edson, a Chad Coleman. There's so many of these guys, man. You know, I look at it, if I go in there and get a top 10, we got to win. These guys just push you every week to get better. That's why yes, I guess that's why I run the league and I keep coming back. It's just these guys they make it so challenging. I mean, I'd sometimes say it's harder to do this than it is the real thing. It's just inches, hairs of separation between skill levels, and it's just, I don't know, it's just tough.
Absolutely. Well, you don't get to do it often. Shout out your sponsors here as we let you go celebrate the win here tonight.
Yeah. Well, first off, you know, sim500.com. We race 7 nights a week. Right now, everything broadcasted Got some great partnerships with Goat Racing on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Some new series starting up there. Check it out, sim500.com. Then TranService Logistics. I can't thank Glenn Campbell and the folks at TranService. They've been with us for I can't tell you how many years, at least 4 or 5 I know of. So can't do this without them. NC811, call before you dig. You know, they're our title sponsor for Monday nights and Sunday nights. So we're very proud to have a national sponsor like that on board, as well as TranService. But just everybody, our whole team, the Sim500 Mafia, it's a team of just anybody, man. It's about family and friendship here. So, and thank you guys for coming on board and taking over this Wednesday series for us. We're glad to have y'all, and I hope to talk to y'all again soon.
All right, man. Well, hey, congrats again on the win here tonight, Joey, and we'll see you next week in Michigan.
Thank you, guys.
All right, that was Joey Gattina, race winner here in the Sim500 TranService Truck Series. Let's talk to P2, Justin Fuller. Justin, it's AJ, Mike, and Gary in the broadcast booth. You got a copy, my friend.
Yeah, I got you.
Holy cow, dude. I don't know if you had extra horsepower or you had NOS on that 51 truck, but what the heck were those moves throughout the race? You just pull out a line and go straight to the front.
It's one of those things. Like I love super speedway racing. I don't like doing it every week, but I have a good knack for it because I make the move before I even think about it. And I can't wait to go back in the review. There's a couple of them that stood out to me really really big. I went from the bottom to the top off turn 2, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just being able to watch out in front of you, not driving off the hood pins and seeing what kind of runs are developing in front of you, behind you, and where the checkup's going to be, and where can you really gain momentum and keep up your momentum without having to lift. So you find yourself a path that you can kind of put your truck, and if you're confident enough in your skills to hang on to the truck and make that move, you can do it and do it pretty well. I did screw up. I thought I was clear, and I definitely was not clear on Jack Coleman. I don't know how he saved that thing going into turn 3 that one lap, but that was definitely my bad.
Gary?
I've got nothing for you, man. I mean, you drove a heck of a race back up to P2. I want to talk to you about that last lap because I really thought, you talk about keeping the momentum up. I thought you were going to just come off of turn 4, try to make it 3 wide, take the win for yourself, but you didn't do that. You pushed Joey to the win there. What was going through your mind those last couple laps?
Well, I mean, we were kind of in lockstep there, two, nose to tail inside the bottom line. So I felt if I pulled out on Joey, I'm not going to win because Macklin's just going to push the 77 by. The 77's not going to give it the bottom. For some odd, stupid reason, Macklin goes below the double yellow line to get underneath the 77. I have no idea why he did that. Had I had known that, I definitely would have jumped to the outside of Joey. I wouldn't have pushed him all the way into the tri-oval. I jumped out behind Joey there last second just to see if I can get a little side draft and suck him back. I think I got to his door. That's about it. So I don't understand what Brian was thinking there. That was kind of silly, I guess. But had I have paid attention and seen that ahead of time, I definitely would have tried to make a move a little sooner than what I did.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, next week we go to Michigan, 80 laps. Kind of a similar style track, a lot of drafting there, not necessarily pack racing, but how do you feel about Michigan going into next week?
I mean, you said it. It's another draft track, so we got another one after that at Indy. So it's just draft, draft, draft. I don't mind drafting once in a while, but I just don't like doing it every week. So it's getting kind of tedious at this point. But it is what it is. We'll go to Michigan and see what we can do. It's been a really rough season, so I have low expectations for basically any race that I join right now. So, coming off a championship and having an absolutely dismal season so far, getting wrecked, and I came into this race with no care in the world, and I think it probably showed. I raced aggressive all night long, and I had an absolute blast. So, if anybody got mad at me, I would do it all over again. What a fun time I had tonight. I don't care. I was 3 wide. I didn't care. I wasn't paying attention to fuel mileage, nothing. I was there to race. I wasn't there to ride, and I made the most of it.
Yeah, you absolutely did. I mean, P2, hopefully we see you soon and talk to you more. We haven't really done that much. Obviously, with your a little bit of a championship hangover, I guess you'd call it. But any thanks to sponsors or anything? Any thank yous or congratulations to anybody you want to give out tonight?
Yeah, thanks to Sim500 for all they do. Thanks to TranService Series. Thanks to you guys for putting on the broadcast. Thanks to everybody that watched. Thanks to Treds for keeping me looking good out here. And Yeah, we'll be here next week, most likely from Michigan, and see if we can draft our way to the front and stay up front and be aggressive again. Because I'm probably just going to continue to be aggressive with every race that I'm in for the rest of the season.
All right, sounds like a plan. Well, we'll see you next weekend again. Congrats on P2.
Thanks. Have a good one.
All right,
All
that's
right.
Justin Fuller with the P2. Now for Mike Campiggio getting down to pit lane, gave him a little bit of extra time. Here's the driver of the number 77, Robert Fury.
Robert, it's Mike, Gary, and AJ in the booth. Got a copy?
Roger that, guys. Glad to be here.
Hey, man, congratulations on your third place finish tonight on the podium. Just talk about your race overall and the craziness that we saw here in Daytona.
Thank you. Yeah, well, first off, congrats to Joey. Glad he got a win. Very, very deserving of that. Yeah, and I thought, it was really close. I actually got damage early on where I had a car, in one of the spins where a caution come out, got into the side. I had a minute and 10 seconds of repair, and I was able to get it fixed, but it was never, the truck wasn't aero right. I needed somebody behind me. So in that last pit stop, it was Joey Nelson and myself. We left pit road, and I was a little bit off the pace. Those guys were pulling away from me because I didn't have any help behind. But as soon as I had a vehicle behind me, I was in good shape and I could make moves and suck up to the car in front. Overall, it was a great race. I want to thank my teammate Nelson and John Schweikert, who had some poor luck tonight, but everybody on the Rue Esports. This makes this possible.
Yeah, just talk about a little bit. Did you about the last few laps? Did you feel like with how did you feel like you had the what you needed at the end, or did you need a little bit more help trying to get the win?
So help was definitely needed. I did think I had what I needed to win. I would have rather have been on the outside line, but the inside line was moving and it starting to gain energy. And I think I had to lead on the white flag lap at one point, and then exiting turn 4 on the white flag lap, about to take the checkers. I think I was in the lead, and Brian Macklin actually pulled off my tail and kind of went to the inside of me, and it slowed me down a little bit and allowed the outside cars, Joey and Justin, to pull ahead and ultimately finish third. But I think, if Brian stays behind me, there's a very good chance the results might be different.
Yeah, I know Justin was talking to us just before you came in about what Brian did with that move to the bottom beneath the double yellow line, coming to the checkered there. Let's put Daytona in the rearview mirror and we focus on next week in Michigan. Michigan is, a drafting style, not pack racing, but drafting style with these trucks at Michigan. So give me your thoughts as we go to the Irish Hills next week.
Yeah, Michigan's a great track. We just ran there Monday night with the next gen car and was running in the top 10, and I don't know, got some fluke damage and lost speed and couldn't keep up with it with the rest of the pack. But going to Michigan in the truck, I had a good run early this season. I want to say I got a fourth place finish, or it was maybe I was running fourth and had some trouble and didn't finish the race. I can't recall, but always generally run well at Michigan, and I'm looking forward to it. You can really sling the car out in the corners and get the trucks yawed out.
Well, before we let you get out of here, Robert, is there anybody you'd like to thank sponsor-wise?
Yeah, again, my teammates Nelson Rivera and John Schweikert, LaRue Esports. Yeah, it's great to have these guys.
Well, man, congratulations on the third place finish, and we will catch you next week in Michigan.
Yeah, guys, thanks for all you do.
All right. Thanks, Robert Fury, for coming and talking with us, for finishing P3. Congratulations. Gary, kind of take us home.
Man, I tell you what, that was an exciting race tonight. The passion and the excitement that you heard from Joey taking that win at Daytona, one of his first premier wins in the TranService Truck Series. Got to be really exciting to do it at Daytona. I'm really excited for Michigan here, guys. I think it's going to be a great race next week. And based on the official races there this past week, being at Michigan, I think we're going to see these drivers have multiple lanes. It definitely felt like the track was 3 or 4 lanes wide, like old Michigan used to be. So stay tuned next week. I think it's going to put on another heck of a show.
Mike, you got any final thoughts?
Man, tonight was a fantastic show at Daytona. These drivers did a great job, put on a great race for us in the booth and all the fans at home. I'm excited, like Gary said, to get to Michigan. Officials last week, to me, seemed like you could run 3 or 4 lanes there, which was which is great. So I think it's Michigan starting to get back to how it was pre-repave. So I'm excited to see what our drivers do next week.
All right, everybody. I'm AJ Capola, Gary Wells, Mike Campiggio in the broadcast booth with me for the evening. Congratulations to Joey Gattina for winning round 10, race 10 for the TranService Truck Series here for the Sim500 Esports Racing League. Y'all have a good night. Check out all our sponsors in the descriptions. Also, hit that like button, subscribe. Be back Monday for the Extreme Forces Racing League. We'll talk to you later. Bye, everybody.
See you.
Later.
Industries across the board utilize fleet trucks on a daily basis, from your local utility company to your grocery store, and many of these companies choose full-service fleet leasing. With a traditional lease, you're responsible for everything after you get the truck, but a full-service lease includes all the maintenance and other services at a set cost. Regardless of the scope or range of your fleet needs, TranService will engineer a fully customized, full-service fleet leasing solution optimized to your requirements. From asset acquisition requiring no capital investment, to the engineering, configuration, and selection of your fleet equipment, to the people, facilities, and equipment to keep your fleet maintained and repaired. TranService gives you everything you need, with advantageous fleet pricing based on our national account status, compliance expertise, inspections, licensing, permitting, personal property taxes, nationwide roadside service. We cover it all for you. Contact us today to learn why leading companies rely on TranService for complete turnkey leasing solutions.
From Mortar to Hogwarts to Gotham, the nerds have come together to create a show for nerds by nerds. Join nerds doing nerd things as they talk about all things nerdy. Stay up to date on the show by liking the Nerds Doing Nerd Things Facebook page.